Hey guys, it's another week, another video, and a little bit of a disclaimer. I have actually already filmed this video, but I was having a bit of an ADD moment, so it was very all over the place, and I screened it and didn't like it, so here we are filming it again. So this is a new type of video. As mentioned previously, that we were going to be trying new things, and for this one, we are going to be doing a creature feature. What that means is we will be talking about a supernatural creature, cryptid, whatever phrase you want to use for it, monster. Well, it's not technically a cryptid per se, but it'll make sense later on. So, I have notes this time too to keep me on track. So we are going to be talking about skinwalkers. Now, I know if you've looked into skinwalkers at all, usually the things that pop up are, they're shapeshifters, or what else do they call them? Werewolves and all sorts of things, monsters. So none of that is true. What a skinwalker is, and we'll get into some more details about it, but what a skinwalker is a evil witch that pretty much exists for the purpose of making people sick and extending their own life and their own power. I also have some books we are going to be referencing, and I have started putting book titles, author names, and links to said books on Amazon if you are interested in purchasing these books for yourself. And I'll also go over a little bit of why I like them. Alright, so Skinwalker exists in multiple cultures, but predominantly as a Skinwalker, it exists in more Plains tribe Native American culture. Now, we do have a variation in my culture that we actually have a couple names for it. One is Skili, which is the Cherokee word for witch. Another is the Ravenmocker, which operates in the same functions as a Skinwalker. So first book I am going to touch on is Monsters by John Michael Greer. I like this because it has a really, really nice index. And if you've watched my research video, you know we love us a good index. So, let's see. We are going to specifically jump to Native American shapeshifting. Now, a lot of these words are like Navajo. I do not speak Navajo, and I only speak a little bit of Cherokee. So if I butcher some of this, I am sorry. Do not come for me. I am trying my best. Let's see. So the word that they have for Skinwalker has all the vowels. There are a lot of vowels. I'm not going to try and say it, because I absolutely will butcher that. But I'm just going to read from this section. Among the Navajos, for example, skinwalkers are sorcerers who change into dogs or coyotes as part of a much feared tradition of evil magic. Skinwalkers are believed to practice cannibalism and to use a magical powder made from corpses. Two traits that may link them with the Anasazi, or Navajo for, quote, ancient enemy, the long-extinct southwestern culture to whom Navajos, as well as some anthropologists, attribute the same nasty habits. Skinwalkers themselves are anything but legendary beings in Navajo country. Even today, both native and white people see them, interact with them, and seek protection from their destructive powers by a variety of magical means. And that's what it goes into other versions of shapeshifters, but now, touching on this. So Skinwalker is not any kind of undead being, spirit being, or anything like that. They are people. They are people who choose to do this. Now, they aren't traditionally shapeshifters because they don't actually shapeshift. But what they do is... Sorry, sometimes I'm just very childish. But what they do is they will possess animals and people and things of that nature to make themselves more indistinguished. Like, for example, if you see someone like lurking outside your house, that's a little alarming. But if you see like a coyote run through, or a raven, or an owl, it's a little less conspicuous than somebody creepy standing outside your house. So, our next book I like very much, and she was a bit of a pricey book, but I enjoyed it, so it was worth the money. It is Superstitions, a handbook of folklore, myths, and legends from around the world by D.R. McElroy. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this. It's pretty well stocked at Barnes & Noble, so if you're a book shopper, you have probably seen this book. What I like about this book is we have illustrations. And I like that it categorizes it from what culture it's from. Now, the Skinwalker bit is not very big, just to be clear. Skinwalkers, Navajo, shamans who use their magical powers for evil. Skinwalkers take the form of any animal, but frequently choose revered animals, questionable, such as coyotes, owls, ravens, foxes, or wolves. The purpose is to inflict pain or death on the victim. Fun stuff. Death and destruction all around. But, so that is a whole separate book commenting on them being evil magicians. I'm trying to think what a good comparison to them would be. But I mean, essentially that's what they do. Their purpose is to make people sick, and the way that they do it is, not the detailed way, but the modus operandi, we'll say, is they will have a person that they want to kill. They will make them sick, and that person will rapidly decline in health until they die. And what that's doing is that is the Skinwalker or Ravenmocker in question stealing their life force to extend their own, to amplify their own power, or whatever they really want out of it. And they will make healthy people sick. They will cause bad luck. They will cause death, obviously. But all in all, there is no redeeming quality. And it's not even necessarily as I guess it would be very specific with what it is that they do. Because obviously there are bad practitioners out there. But this is something very specific that they do. Rather than, just putting bad juju on somebody. Now, the third book I will not be sharing. I will not be putting it in the description or anything like that. And the reason that I do not share this book is because it has some very dangerous stuff in it. It has things that can be abused, and the way that I explained it to somebody else, because they asked, as I mentioned, I recorded this before, but I did still screen the video because I wanted opinions on it. I did have a couple people ask me about this book, and the way that I explained it is we all have moments that we are weak or that we are desperate, and we kind of play a little too close to breaking certain rules. And for that reason, I do not share this, because it does have things like harmful magic in it. It does have things like love spells, and I mean like actual oomph to them, not something that you've printed off of Google. And obviously we know that this plays against, the whole free will thing, and I don't jive with that. So that is the reason that I do not share this. It is also, half of it is in Cherokee. So it would be extremely easy to both appropriate part of this and also extremely easy to misunderstand the context of some of this stuff. But we are going to jump into Ravenmocker on this book because it's got a pretty good chunk of it. It's actually for 3 pages. I will not read all 3 pages because that's kind of a lot. Of all the Cherokee wizards or witches, the most dreaded is the Ravenmocker, the one that robs the dying man of life. They are of either sex, and there is no way to know one, though they usually look withered and old because they have added so many lives to their own. At night, when someone is sick or dying in the settlement, the Ravenmocker goes to the place to take the life. He flies through the air in a fiery shape with arms outstretched like wings and sparks trailing behind, and a rushing sound like the noise of a strong wind. Every little while as he flies, he makes the cry of a raven when it dives in the air, not like the common raven cry. And those who hear are afraid, because they know that some man's life will soon go out. When the Ravenmocker comes to the house, he finds others of his kind waiting there, and unless there is a doctor on guard who knows how to drive them away, they go inside, all invisible, and frighten and torment the sick man until they kill him. Sometimes to do this, they even lift him from the bed and throw him on the floor, but his friends who are with him think he is only struggling for breath. After the witches kill him, they take out his heart and eat it, and so add to their own lives as many days or years as they have taken from his. No one in the room can see them, and there is no scar when they take out the heart, but yet there is no heart left in the body. Only one who has the right medicine can recognize a Ravenmocker, and if such a man stays in the room with the sick person, these witches are afraid to come in, and retreat as soon as they see him. Because when one of them is recognized in his right shape, he must die within 7 days. And then it goes into a story of a particular medicine worker that used to hunt for Ravenmockers and killed several. When the friend of a dying person know that there is no more hope, they always try to have one of these medicine men stay in the house and watch the body until it is buried. After the burial, the witches do not steal the heart. And then it goes on to other witches are jealous of Ravenmockers and afraid to come into the same house with one. Yeah, and then it just goes into other details, but you get the gist of it. They will cloister together, they will steal life, they will eat hearts. But there are people that do medicine work. You can call them medicine men, you can call them shaman, even though I will be very clear, shaman is for an entirely different culture. That is a word that is dramatically misused. It bothers me a lot because this is what I mean by people do not look into where they're getting their information. If I remember correctly, I believe shaman was a specific word used by indigenous Siberians in their culture. So, I'll be honest, when someone's like, oh yeah, I'm a shaman, are you now? And they're like, oh yeah, I'm being trained as it, and of course they're a little on the vanilla side, and I don't want to be getting into colorism, but it ain't okay to appropriate. It ain't okay to appropriate. Just saying. And to be a worker. So medicine workers, medicine men, whatever you want to call them, they are specifically trained for this sort of thing. I myself received training. It is a very formal kind of process where it is a true mentor-apprentice relationship. And you will train under them for however long they see fit. And then you kind of get your whole sink or swim finals moment where you will go and you will do a job on your own. This is not something that is for everybody. I will more than happily go into an explanation on that in another video because there's a whole lot involved and I've been asked about it before. But I would not recommend doing this if you have not been trained to do so because, ghost hunting and hunting for cryptids or whatever is all well and good, but this is a person. This isn't some mindless entity. This isn't a spirit. This is a person. And because of that, you're going into a straight up fight with a person, and a person that you may not necessarily know how good or bad they are or what they have at their disposal. So I do not recommend deciding that you want to go witch hunting. We're not going to do that. But mostly I just wanted to give y'all information on this because I know Skinwalker is one that is used out of context a whole lot. And yeah, that's pretty much it. If I keep looking around, it's because I keep losing this stupid little clicker that runs my shutter. There's a whole stint at the end of that video that I'm not airing where I'm just like, Hopefully it's going to work today. But I hope y'all have liked this video. This is launching our creature feature series. Gosh knows that I do not lack for options there. So if you have one that you want me to make a video about and talk about, I obviously have plenty of resources to look that information up for you, and I will gladly do it as always. Because this is fun and it helps us get content and you learn stuff and it's great. Do check out the books in the description box. If you like this video, hit my like. If you want to subscribe, subscribe. Thank you all for being viewers. I'm happy y'all are here, including that half a dozen or so that absolutely hates me, but you still watch my videos, so we're all winning. And y'all have a good night. I look forward to the video for next week. And